Hello, hello. How are we doing today? I am not Bradley Stalder. My name is Tyler Knaeble at PPR Tyler on Twitter. And I guess I'm the new host, Player Profiler today on Mondays. The successor to Jack Kavanaugh, I guess. And it's funny enough, is the very first show I was on ever at Player Profiler was on this show. Jack took me on Player Profiler today. It was my first ever show at a Player Profiler. So kind of a full circle moment for me. Kind of fun. Good evening, Not Bradley. You're right. Not Bradley here today. You're stuck with me. And today we're going to be talking about I kind of compiled a big list of all the rookie visits. I got like as 3 days ago. There's also some current news. But it's a pretty updated list. There's a lot of stuff. It's combine visits. It's top 30 visits. So let's just dive into it right now. Let me pull this up. Share my screen. So this is kind of my notes. You can see it. Let's get rid of the overlay real quick. Let's just do that. 2 seconds. Sorry. I'm new to the program. So here we go. So this is kind of just like looking at this. It's a really interesting just sort of situation we got here. So if what you're looking at, I can even break it down here. So the COM right here, this just means combine visit. So that means they visited with them. They had an interview with them at the combine. The T30 means top 30 visit. So that obviously means something. It's kind of funny. You'll notice there's some guys like, I think, like there's some guys who are not going to go in the top 30 that got top 30 visits. I think like Dylan Lobb was one of them who like they're on a top 30 visit. I forget which team, but I pretty much got every relevant kind of player that's being drafted. And we won't spend too much time on each list, obviously, just because we could be here for probably 5 hours if we broke down every team for every landing spot. But I just think the things to pay attention to are kind of the sheer number of like some of these prospect Scots. Like when we get down to Theo Johnson, look how many visits and interviews Theo Johnson has been on. That was like kind of the one that stood out. So again, maybe not every player that gets drafted visited with the team, but it's better than nothing at this stage in the game. Just a little over 2 weeks out from the not the combine, the NFL draft. So kind of fun to just kind of look at. I don't mind a 5-hour podcast. Hey, well, there you go. Maybe we will turn this into 5 hours. My first ever show, just Joe Rogan length, Podfather length kind of thing. But let's take a look at it. So first one, we got Ray Davis. Now, if you guys don't know, Ray Davis is my guy. I would argue that I'm higher than on Ray Davis than any other player at this company, and probably also in the world. Ray Davis is my guy. If he's, I don't think he's going to get day 2 capital, but if he does, I would be over the moon. So he had combine visits with the Bucks and the Chargers. And then these three right here are the ones that Adam Schefter reported today. Top 30 visits with or workouts or something like that. I forget the actual verbiage that Schefter used, or maybe it was one of the other insiders. But it came up today on Twitter. That's kind of what gave me the idea to do this idea for today. But Green Bay, Denver, Atlanta, Arizona, just looking at these landing spots right here, obviously, I feel like the best landing spot, I don't really think any of them are really bad landing spots other than Atlanta. I think that would be the only bad one for his fantasy value. Green Bay would be good. There's a backup role for the taking there. Same thing with Arizona, Chargers, Buccaneers, all that kind of thing. Even Denver, too. You could maybe take Jaleel McLaughlin's job, who kind of feels like the starter right now. But we'll kind of get to more some of the blue chip prospects. I just want to give my little spiel on Ray Davis to begin with. Anthony's in here. Can vouch for my Ray Davis exposure. Exactly. So next one we got is Trey Benson. Let me do it like this. Make it look better. So he had top 30 visits with the Bills, Browns, and Cowboys. All really good kind of, if he were to go to one of these three teams, I mean, that would be a great landing spot for Trey Benson. I mean, the Bills obviously could be that bigger back, kind of that compliment to James Cook, little thunder lightning, kind of maybe what we've seen with like Algier and Bijan. Maybe not. We probably don't want to see that same extent this season, but so Bills, Browns, Cowboys. Cowboys is they interviewed him at the combine, and it was a top 30 visit right here. So Cowboys, Trey Benson. I mean, Trey Benson would be a first round rookie pick if he went to the Cowboys. That'd be a great landing spot for him. Even the Browns, Nick Chubb is there, Jerome Ford is there. He probably would take Jerome Ford's job, but Nick Chubb, he's probably not going to be on the team next season. You look at the contract, maybe the injury, they're probably want to get young. They're going to want to get younger at that position. So I think the Browns long term, maybe not for best ball, wouldn't be the best landing spot, even though you could argue that Nick Chubb's going to miss some time. So the Browns would be a great landing spot for Dynasty, and a little not as good for best ball as the Cowboys would, but Dynasty overall. I mean, Cleveland wants to run the ball. I think he'd be a really nice complement to the passing game. Take some pressure off Deshaun Watson. So I like that landing spot for Trey Benson. Now, Javon Baker, the only one I could find was the Texans with a combine and a top 30 visit. And I don't know how true that is anymore after the Diggs trade. So the Javon Baker one, I even searched on Twitter. I was trying to find some more visits, maybe some more some interviews, but I couldn't really find anything. Maybe I didn't look hard enough. But the Texans was kind of the only one I found, and this could have been, earlier in the process. Javon Baker went to the Texans now. Like, that would not be a great landing spot for a guy who loves Javon Baker, like myself. That would not be a great landing spot for Javon Baker. Now, Brock Bowers, this is where we kind of start, playing the game. Bears combine top 30 visit could definitely be an option for the Bears at 9. Bengals would be just like the 101 landing spot for Brock Bowers, probably. I don't think there's a better landing spot than the Bengals, to be honest. They need a tight end. Right now they have Gesicki. Bowers would immediately come in there, change their offense. Higgins probably isn't going to be around long term. So for Dynasty and for redraft, Bengals is definitely the 101 landing spot for Brock Bowers. Then we got the Broncos. Maybe think Jimmy Graham. I could see that kind of Sean Payton, Jimmy Graham, and Brock Bowers, some similarities there. Chargers, we know that they're probably not going at 5. This would be a spot if the Chargers traded down. Colts, Titans. Again, I don't want to spend too much time, so I think the way we're just going to do this, kind of just go through them, like the best landing spots. I'll just do best and worst landing spots based on the information we currently have. So best landing spot is Bengals without a doubt. Worst landing spot, ooh, that's kind of tough. I feel like it would have to be the Titans, right? They have Ridley. They have 2 running backs who are capable of catching passes out of the backfield in Pollard and Spears, and they have DeAndre Hopkins. So and the quarterback, it's kind of up in the air. I would say the Bengals system has never really, targeted tight ends, but they've probably also never had a tight end like Brock Bowers. So that could be, I'm just kind of picking nits there. But so I think the Titans would be my least favorable landing spot out of all these. So Bengals and Titans. And then Jonathan Brooks, guys, got a lot of combine visits, a couple of top 30s in there. We got the Cowboys. Everyone wants to, what's LOC here? I have the guide here. What is LOC? Let me look at the key. They have like a legend here breaking them down. LOC is local visit, prospect making a local visit. Okay. So it's a local visit for Jonathan Brooks and the Cowboys. And we know that if you've been around, I'm sure you've heard by now that the Cowboys team doctor is the one who did the ACL surgery on Jonathan Brooks. So I think that's that's definitely something to note there with Jonathan Brooks. So Cowboys, that's kind of the place he's getting mocked to just because of that connection alone. Cowboys need a running back. So I think this would be the 101 landing spot. This would be the best landing spot for Jonathan Brooks. After that, though, probably bad landing spot. Worst one, Steelers, right? They got Jalen Warren. They have Najee Harris. I think that would be the worst landing spot for Jonathan Brooks. So let's move on to Keon Coleman. Let's do it like this real quick. There we go. So Bills, Bucks, Steelers, and Texans. Again, Texans definitely the worst landing spot. Let's just exclude that because, they met with them at the combine. They also didn't have Stephon Diggs on their team yet. So Steelers, Bucks, and Bills. I think the best landing spot for Keon Coleman would probably have to be the Bills, just given their lack of depth at wide receiver right now. So, the Bills are probably all these receivers that we see the Bills for. That's going to be the best landing spot, right? Like there's no debate there. So I'll try and give you some more hard-hitting analysis than just picking the Bills every time. We'll go like that. And Jamie says Bengals tight ends usage recently in the past kind of worries me, but I'm sure they'll change up some things with such an elite prospect. And that's kind of what I'm thinking too. If Cincinnati was to go Brock Bowers, or Tennessee, or pretty much anyone, you're not drafting him to use him like Irv Smith. You're not drafting him to use him like Hayden Hurst, right? You're drafting him to use him like Kyle Pitts, like Jimmy Graham, who's another, like George Kittle, like the guys who are athletic and just like running routes and studs with the balls in the ball in their hand, right? So I totally agree on that front. Now Malachi Corley, look at the absurd amount. This is one of the biggest takeaways I had from this exercise. Look at how many top 30 visits Malachi Corley has. This gives me hope as Malachi Corley, another one of my just big flag plant players, look at the sheer amount of top 30 visits that Malachi Corley has. This just tells me he's a lock to go day 2. I would even say he's favored to go in round 2. Like, just there is so many teams that we need to get Malachi Corley in there. I know he posted something on his Instagram story where he was in Charlotte, so obviously having a visit there. So with the Panthers, but like Niners, Browns, Bucks, Cowboys, Panthers, Ravens, Seahawks, Steelers. There's not a lot of bad landing spots there, especially for a guy like Malachi Corley. I think if you want Malachi Corley to succeed at the next level, you want somebody who's gonna really like scheme him open, right? You need someone who's gonna use him the right way, kind of like Devon Achane, right? Devon Achane, if he would have went to like, I don't know, what's like the Colts, just like an average team, backfield. Okay, maybe Jonathan Taylor's not the best example. How about like, who's like the most average team in the NFL? I'm trying to think of the most average team. Like, let's say let's just say the Cardinals. Like, they're kind of bad last year, but let's say Devon Achane went to the Cardinals, right? He's not going to get like, the Cardinals would not have gotten as much out of Devon Achane as Mike McDaniel can, right? Master schemer. He's going to put him in situations to succeed. Like, that's the name of the game with Devon Achane. It's the same thing with Malachi Corley. Like, so I'm thinking like, I want really good offensive minds, creative offensive minds, guys who are going to scheme him the ball in the run game, in the screen game, and get him like long drags, let him get the ball in his hands, maybe 4 to 7 yards away from line of scrimmage on those drag routes, scheme him open, and then it's off to the races. This guy went to Western Kentucky as a running back. He has a running back background, and now he plays receiver. He plays like a running back too. If you watch anything of Malachi Corley, that's how he plays the game. So Niners would be the one-on-one landing spot for me. But like Cowboys, Bucks wouldn't be bad as well. Seahawks could be sneaky good, from a dynasty perspective. I think the worst landing spot, people will want to say the Panthers, but like they have nobody there. So I feel like that'd actually be a decent landing spot. I feel like the worst one would be the Browns, honestly. Like they got some guys there. Judy's locked up. Cooper's kind of locked up, and Joku's there. I don't know. I think that would be the worst landing spot for Malachi Corley. All right, we're gonna try and speed through this thing. I've taken like 13 minutes, and we're not even through C. It's kind of an alphabetical order if you haven't realized yet. So next one's Blake Corum, Chargers top 30 visit. That's kind of the news here. Bengals, either two of these landing spots would be great. I think I'd prefer the Chargers. Harbaugh is going to use them. Harbaugh was with them. I've been drafting a lot of Blake Corum in best ball. And shameless plug, right after this stream, if you want to see me draft a best ball team, head on over to my YouTube channel at PPR Tyler. We do drafts there every night. This will be our 36th stream in a row, like consecutive days streaming an underdog best ball draft. So we're going to do that directly after this stream. So if you want to do that, head on over there. We draft a lot of Malachi Corley, a lot of Blake Corum, and a lot of Ray Davis. So I'm kind of just talking about the guys that I talk about on stream. But let's go to the next guy, Jaden Daniels. I mean, we could sit here and talk about all the top 30 visits. Like it's going to come down to the 3 teams for me, right? Patriots. It says God, 2024. What website was this? Walter Football. It's 2024. Let's chill. Let's calm down with the R word right there. Okay. Commanders. It's going to be the Patriots, the Commanders, or the Vikings. In my mind, those are the 3. Obviously, the Vikings going to be the one-on-one landing spot for all of the rookie quarterbacks. Like even like Caleb Williams, he's going to go to the Bears, but I think the Vikings are like one of the best landing spots for a rookie quarterback ever. So yeah, that's just yeah. No one saw that. Nobody saw that. All right. So obviously the worst landing spot for Jaden Daniels would be the Patriots, but let's move on from him. Audric Estime is our next person. VR, is that virtual visit? VIR is, let me see. Virtual meeting. So that's a virtual meeting for Estime. All these other one were combine interviews. Obviously Bills would be a good landing spot. Again, kind of thunder lightning with James Cook. Eagles wouldn't be bad as well. Actually, the Eagles would be bad. I think Eagles. I totally forgot Saquon Barkley was there. I was thinking like, DeAndre Swift, but no. 2024 for agency happened. So I think Eagles would be the worst one. I think the best one would be, the Cowboys, Bills. Niners would be interesting. Like maybe they use Estime on the goal line, take some of the McCaffrey touches away. It would not be good for McCaffrey if Estime went to the Niners. Not good for McCaffrey. I think you would vulture some of those goal line touchdowns that McCaffrey always seems to get. All right, next player. Troy Franklin. We talked about the Bills. I'm not going to go. What's WOR now? WOR means private workout. Members of an organization working out a player in private. Okay, got it. There we go. Jamie says James Cook is one of my sell high right now, with them most likely taking a running back. I agree. I think you could sell James Cook. That'd be a really good move. So back to Troy Franklin though. Texans, no, that's a bad landing spot. I think Steelers would actually it'd kind of be the best, like Pickens and Franklin just bombs away, right? Bombs away. And yeah, you got like Russell Wilson, one of the best deep ball throwers of all time. That'd be a great landing spot for Troy Franklin. Worst one would be probably Browns or Texans. Isaac Guerrero, I thought this was just interesting. I put him on here because he did have a top 30 visit with the Dolphins. I mean, do they need it? I mean, this guy could maybe come in, this year. He's really raw, young, he didn't even start at Louisville. He was the backup at Louisville. So that's a size speed thing. It's like he's pretty much just a mini Mostert almost, I think I watched The Franchise Guy. If you ever watch him on YouTube, he does some really good breakdowns. I think he actually compared Isaac Guerrero to Raheem Mostert. So that's kind of a funny. That would be that they have an MO in Miami, right? We know what it is. Maybe Mostert is on the way out the next year or two. I know they just signed him to an extension, but I don't know. This could be an interesting landing spot if Guerrero went there. Marvin Harrison, we kind of know he's going to the Cardinals, Chargers, somewhere. One of those teams is pretty much a lock. So I think you'd rather see him on the Chargers, though. You obviously have the Herbert connection, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting scared of the way Harbaugh's talking about this. I want to run the ball all the time, Arthur Smith style. That scares me a tad. Bucky Irving getting a nice little top 30 visit from the Cowboys. Love to see that. I mean, if they like Deuce Vaughn, they're gonna love Bucky Irving. So that's always fun. Texans would actually be a good landing spot for Bucky Irving. Damian Pierce is their RB2 right now. Mixon probably going to be more of that bruiser back, 3-down back. I think Bucky Irving would complement Mixon really well. They kind of have different games. So I think Bucky Irving to the Cowboys would be a good landing spot. Probably take Deuce Vaughn's job. You probably drop Deuce Vaughn in Dynasty if Bucky Irving went to the Cowboys. All right, next one. Dylan Johnson, couple top 30 visits. Vikings, Steelers, and Cards. I thought that was interesting. So I think the Vikings would probably be the best landing spot there. Kind of maybe like an 8, he's kind of just an on-the-ground guy. Didn't really catch that many passes during his time at Washington. Steelers would be the worst one here. Cardinals would be a good one too. So probably best landing spot here would be Vikings. Worst would be Steelers. Excuse me. So, all right. Yeah, Jamie's in here. I mean, yeah, Dolphins get Guerrero and Worthy. That would legitimate. That would be unfair. Imagine the Dolphins just draft like Xavier Worthy. That'd be crazy. Okay, now I mentioned Theo Johnson. Look at all of these combine visits he had, these interviews. Like, holy goodness. Niners, Bucks, Chiefs, Eagles, Jags, Raiders, Ravens, Seahawks, Steelers, Texans. I mean, the worst landing spot that sticks out to me right away is the Raiders. Like, they already have Michael Mayer. The offense is really sketchy right now. It's in a weird place. I don't really like that. I'm not a fan of that landing spot. I mean, the best one would have to be what? Chiefs maybe, Like, I know what you're saying, right? Like, and I'm looking from a dynasty perspective on this one. Like, Kelsey, he only got 1 or 2 years left, but you could have the tight end attached to Patrick Mahomes. That'd probably be the best landing spot. Maybe if we're looking from a redraft perspective, the best landing spot would probably be the Buccaneers. I don't think Cade Stodden's all that good. Texans maybe too. I know Dalton Schultz is there, but I don't know. All right, next one. Now, Dylan Laub, this is what I was talking about. Couple top 30 visits. Now, Dylan Laub is not going to the top 30. And like most of the guys that get top 30 visits aren't going top 30. But I thought it was interesting that he was just getting top 30 visits. I mean, we got the Bears and the Saints and the Bucks. I think the Bucks would be a good landing spot potentially. Saints would be interesting because Kamara is probably gone next year. So Dynasty, that'd be interesting. Bears, I don't like at all, only because DeAndre Swift catches passes. Like he's their pretty much their pass catcher, or I would suspect he's going to be their pass catcher in Buffalo. So I don't know if I'm a big fan of the Bears one there because Dylan Laub, maybe he's just a receiver though at the next level, and none of that could matter. So, all right, let's look at the next one. Leggett, very controversial prospect. Love the way that guy talks. He's like, man, I just trying to come out here and put on for my community or whatever he said. I love his Carolina accent. Is it South Carolina accent? I actually don't know where he's from. I don't know what kind of accent it is, but regardless, Steelers top 30 visit. I mean, if the Steelers draft a receiver in the second round, It's probably a good pick. We look at Pickens, we look at Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster was good while he was in Pittsburgh for a little bit there. So, I mean, it's probably a good pick if the Steelers were drafting him in the second round. But Niners would be a good landing spot. Ayuk possibly on the way out. Feels like he could get traded to start the season. Some people are push back on that, but I think we don't know until we know. So Niners would be the best dynasty landing spot. I think Bills would be good too. I think out of these groups, Steelers would be the worst. All right, next one, Marshawn Lloyd, Bucks and Titans. Marshawn Lloyd, interesting player. Kind of a controversial player too. Titans, not a good landing spot. Bucks, good landing spot. Let's move on to Luke McCaffrey. Funny that Niners aren't on this list. That's kind of fucked up or messed up. I don't know if I can swear on this program. My bad. Not great for Luke McCaffrey. But Broncos, locate? I think that's on location. Yeah, on location. So Broncos worked them out. Steelers, Texans. I think Steelers and Broncos, obviously great landing spots there. Texans, not great. Now, Drake May, I put them on here. Here's all the visits. It's probably most of them are combine that you see the only top 30 ones. I don't know. Giants are being linked to, they're being linked to JJ McCarthy a little bit, but I haven't really heard any Drake May and Giants. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They had a workout, a top 30, and a combine. And you think about Brian Daboll coming from Buffalo. One of the comps that people have on Drake May is Josh Allen. So kind of interesting there. Bigger body, big arm. Brian Daboll's kind of the one that fixed, in a way, Josh Allen. You could also argue that Stephon Diggs had a big part to do with that. But Giants and Patriots, I thought that was interesting. Giants and Vikings, no top 30 visit. A lot of people are talking about Drake May to the Vikings. So that was, I think, interesting from all the stuff that the Giants were one of the three teams who, like, the Patriots are predicted to take May. The Giants did everything that pretty much the Patriots did. So, all right, JJ McCarthy. Vikings, a lot more on this combine and I think workout. So interesting there. And then we got Giants again here, Patriots, but we can't. You guys have heard the McCarthy stuff. So we'll get back on like the other guys. Jalen McMillan, look at all of these visits and combine interviews that he did. We got Bengals for a top 30 visit, Cardinals for a top 30, Jags and Panthers also top 30 visits. And he's one of those guys that's going a little bit later in best ball too, 18th, 19th round. You can scoop him up, kind of looking like a lock for day 2 right now. Chiefs top 30 visit. Like, McMillan on the Chiefs, sign me up. Cardinals, sign me up. Bengals, sign me up. Jaguars, Panthers. Like, if one of these teams draft him, sign me up for McMillan. Go get some Jalen McMillan if you're doing some underdog drafts right now. Go get some Jalen McMillan if you're doing some underdog drafts right now. And speaking of underdog, a word from our sponsors.
This episode brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy has been sponsoring Player Profiler and everything we're doing here since 2020. Sign up. Use promo code UNDERWORLD for a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. 100% instant deposit match up to $100. And you're like, oh, well, everyone's on Underdog. Not true. There's plenty of people in this audience that have not yet tried out Underdog, and it's time. They're adding more sports. They're adding more contests. Like when we're heading into NFL draft season, there's the rookies and sophomores game. When you think about way too early fantasy football, that's what Underdog is. When you think about best ball, that's what Underdog is. And if you can pick players at the end of an Underdog Fantasy best ball draft that are under rostered, that few people are picking at all, and that guy, like Kyren Williams, hits, you will likely experience positive returns. All you need is that one guy at the end who no one else is rostering, and the way to find that guy is to listen to us. UnderdogFantasy.com. The promo code is Underworld. 100% deposit match up to $100 with promo code Underworld. Underdog makes everything we do possible.
And that guy, just like Matt Kelly was talking about, Jalen McMillan, baby, that could be the guy. Like I said, 18th, 19th round right now on Underdog. So, I mean, I'm kind of bought in on Jalen McMillan right now too. So, really fun there. Let's go to Adonai Mitchell. Only two that I could find. It's funny, like a guy like McMillan has all these combine, top 30, whatever. Adonai Mitchell's got two combines, Bills and Steelers. Obviously, Bills, best landing spot there. We can move on. I have Adonai Mitchell here twice. Let's delete that. Malik Nabers, ton of these pro days, combines, top 30s. He's had top 30s with the Bears, Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, Jets, and Titans. I mean, I don't know if the Jets could get Malik Nabers, but oh my God, imagine Malik Nabers and Garrett Wilson in the same offense. Like, that would be unbelievable. That would just be, I mean, that'd be good for the Jets. Maybe not as good for Malik Nabers' fantasy stock. I think that the best landing spot for him here, probably the Cardinals or Chargers. Giants could be fine. I think some people are scared of the quarterback situation there, but could still be a good landing spot for the Giants. I think the worst ones for fantasy would be the Jets, probably the Jets, Titans, and probably the Bears, just because it's such a crowded offense, right? Yeah, he's attached to Caleb Williams, but maybe dynasty outlook, DJ and maybe Keenan Allen isn't there as long. I think Keenan Allen's a free agent after this year anyway. So dynasty-wise, Bears wouldn't be bad, but redraft, not good. Not good for Malik Nabers if he went to the Bears. Now, Bo Nix, I mean, just a ton of combine interviews. I guess the only top 30s were Raiders and Seahawks. I think the Seahawks would be a good one. Kind of staying in that northwest area. Raiders would be a good one too. I mean, they don't have a quarterback, so Bo Nix to the Raiders would be a good selection. Jamie, I've taken Nabers over Marvin Harrison and Mock. So have I. I've taken Nabers just like I think if I have if I had it my way, like in dynasty, like rookie drafts, I might take Nabers over Marvin Harrison as well. I really like Nabers, man. I think he's my wide receiver one. Brendan Rice is our next one. Again, a lot of top 30s. Now here Luke McCaffrey didn't get a top 30 with the Niners, but Brendan Rice does. I don't know what's going on there. Jerry Rice might have to get in Lynch's office and be like, what's going on? But I'm not Jerry. You know what I mean. Anyways, Niners top 30, Cardinals, Chargers, Eagles, Jets, Panthers, Raiders, and this is kind of what like this feels like Brendan Rice is a lock for day 2. When you see this many top 30 visits, like he's probably going to go somewhere in day 2, round 2, round 3. I don't know, but day 2 feels like he's going to go there. I think best landing spot, obviously. It's kind of Chargers, Cardinals, kind of the same teams we've been talking about. Will Shipley now, Buccaneers. If you haven't noticed, the Buccaneers, I think, from what I could find between combine interviews, top 30s, the Buccaneers have done 10 running back visit combine top 30s all combined. And that's the most of any team, I believe. Maybe it's them and the Cowboys, but this is kind of like one of those things where I think they've said they want to get. I think Todd Bowles already came out and said they want to take some of the pressure off Rachaad White in the backfield. I honestly think the Buccaneers are a lock to draft a running back, and not only a lock to draft a running back, but draft one in the first 2 days, probably day 2. They're probably going to go day 2 running back. I think that's probably a lock in my mind, just from the amount of visits they've had this year, kind of what they've already said. I think the Buccaneers draft a running back. Will Shipley, not a bad spot, would be the Buccaneers. Steelers, probably a bad spot. Texans would be a good spot. So Texans, probably the best spot out of there. Now, Odunze, let's make this look cleaner. A lot of top 30 visits. We got Giants, Cardinals, Bears, kind of the usual suspects. I wonder if the Cardinals would actually take, what if they just have Odunze over Nabers on their board? That'd be kind of crazy. What if Odunze just went in the top 5? I don't think anyone would expect that one. So very interesting there. Now we got Ricky Pearsall, only one I could find again. Steelers combine top 30. So Steelers are the only team that Ricky Pearsall I could find for visits, but that would not be a bad landing spot, especially in the slot, kind of working opposite of George Pickens. George Pickens is going to be an outside receiver. Ricky Pearsall, just let him win in the slot, kind of just win over the middle of the field. Something that Pickens doesn't do as well as a guy like Pearsall could do. Now we got Michael Penix, Broncos top 30, Falcons top 30, which I thought was interesting. They could be maybe draft a quarterback. Giants, Raiders. Giants, Raiders, Commanders, and Steelers. So that's fun there too. And then we'll round it out here quick. Roman Wilson, Titans top 30. Interesting. Steelers, Bills. It's kind of all the usual suspects now we've already talked about. Now, Worthy, Bears are interesting because if the Bears trade down, maybe they say they trade down from 9. Would they take Xavier Worthy in the middle of the first? I don't think that's out of the question. Cardinals, it's kind of this, the same thing. Maybe they trade down. Colts, that'd be a good landing spot, I think. Anthony Richardson, big arm. They don't really have a deep play guy right now. Yeah, they have Pittman, but he doesn't necessarily scream like burner. Josh Downs doesn't necessarily scream burner. Alec Pierce has kind of been their burner, but I think Worthy, obviously, a lot better burner than Alec Pierce would be. And then we got Ravens top 30 visit as well. So interesting there. Ben Sinnott, A lot of top 30s here. I think Benson might go on day 2. Look at this. We got Bears, we got Bucks, Chiefs, Panthers. Again, Chiefs would be the best dynasty landing spot for a guy like Benson. So I was kind of in on that. Buccaneers, good landing spot as well. Bears, not as excited about. They got Everett. They got Komet. They just signed Komet. So that'd be like their tight end too. So I don't know how good I feel about that. And then we got Brian Thomas. A lot of this is our last one. A lot of combine. No top 30s yet, but I mean, he's projected to go in that middle to late first round. I think the best landing spot for him would be, like not Jags, like Cowboys would be good. Take the top off that defense with Dak. Bills, obviously. Niners would be fun. Bengals would be fun. So, so that's kind of just all the top 30 visits. And it's interesting when you kind of break it down. Which guys are getting interviews, which guys are getting how many interviews. Like, I would have expected Ricky Pearsall to have a lot more interviews than just one. Maybe I could be missing some. This is a list from 3 days ago. So they obviously some more could have been scheduled. And like with Ray Davis, like those were announced today and some other ones were announced today. But kind of just a fun exercise to go through all the visits. And again, I'm literally going to go live on at PPR Tyler on YouTube. So if you want to go hang out with me, I'm going to draft a little board underdog team right now. But again, thanks for hanging out. First good episode on Player Profiler today. I'll be back next Monday and we'll see you guys later.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.